I want to share really quick the lifestyle, not the money, but the lifestyle that this business model can afford you and can provide you if you do it right. And I know, I talk about this all the time. I'm always talking about the business model. What do you expect? It's what I do. It's what I've been doing for 6 years. I'm completely all in on this. So yeah, I'm going to talk about it. I apologize if you don't like it, then get off the channel. A couple years ago, when I first heard about this business model of renting tiny websites, renting digital assets, I was like, oh, that makes total sense. And to be honest with you, I have never told anybody that, hey, what do you do? Well, I build these websites, they're really cheap to build, and then I rent them for thousands of dollars per month. I've never said that to anybody and they're like, oh, that's stupid. All of them go, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. How do I do that? Like, that's the most common response. And I bet you guys, if you've ever talked about it with anyone, or maybe when you heard about it, you thought the exact same thing, right? It makes total sense. And so when I first heard about it, I was like, I'm in. That makes complete sense to me. I don't know how to build a website, but you know what? I'll figure it out. Whatever, I'll buy a program and I'll learn it, which is what I ended up doing. But my goal when I got in, I remember when I first got in, my goal was I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to make sure that I could make as much money as I possibly can. I wanted to be able to make sure I could make as much money as possible without having my time be traded for dollars. I wanted to separate my time and dollars. And I had read, I think it was the Millionaire Fastlane, and it just blew my mind. I was like, that's what I got to do. I'm knocking doors. At the time I was knocking doors and I was making good money. I was making $150, 200K per year, which is good money. But I had to be working in order to make that money. And I knew that for me to scale, to hit the numbers I wanted, I had to separate the two. So my goal, like my ideal lifestyle when I started in this was like, what if I could do this from anywhere in the world? What if I could make, there was no cap, there was no ceiling on my income. I could make infinite amounts of money. What if I could make money while I was sleeping? What if I could take days off and still make money? What if, like, all of these what ifs, and I had this vision of what I wanted, and I knew this business model checked all the boxes, but I did it wrong in the beginning. And I was in one of those positions where I really needed capital really quick because my other venture failed. So I got in and I started taking the quick money. I started taking the easy money, which is the SEO money. And I'm telling you guys right now, don't do that. Stop. That doesn't lead anywhere, okay? It doesn't. Now, if you need to take a couple SEO deals just to pay the bills, I get it, but be careful. Because what I did is I started going down. I'm like, oh, SEO is awesome. I'm gonna just keep building my SEO company. It's such good money. They always cancel. I know you're thinking, no, I'm good, I'm the one, I'm better, I've got reporting. They will cancel, trust me, okay? Anyway, that was my vision at the beginning, is I wanted this certain lifestyle where I didn't have to work. I could be making money while I was golfing or sleeping or traveling or whatever it was. And I did it wrong, and I chased SEO, and I started bringing on clients, and it was service stuff, and my time was attached to it. And I remember, being in Disneyland one day, getting a phone call. I'm with my family. I get a phone call, and it's my biggest client. It's paying me $4,000 per month in SEO fees, and he's ready to cancel. And I go from having a heck of a time on top of the world, excited, to instantly regretful, sick to my stomach. And I'm like, yo, we gonna be able to afford the churro, man? Like obviously I didn't say that to my wife. I didn't even tell her what was going on, but I had to skid up, and it ruined my whole day, and my whole trip was kind of, whatever. So I want to compare that really quick. Right now it's June, and a couple months ago in March, I want to tell you about my March. And it was the month where I was like, okay, I'm doing this how I said I wanted to do it in the beginning, okay? So let me tell you about what I did in March. In March, the first week, I worked. I did my normal thing. We were bringing on clients. I was doing my deal. And then I took my family for 5 days. We went to Cancun. And I'm not saying that like I know anyone could go to Cancun. It's not because it's that expensive. It's because I was loving it, because we were able to go to Cancun, and I was able to still run my business from Cancun, right? And I didn't work while I was there. Even some of the calls I was supposed to be on, I was able to delegate those off. I didn't work. It was awesome. So go to Cancun for 5 days with the family, hang out. It's great. We come back for 48 hours back to Utah, and 48 hours later, I'm on a plane and I'm on my way to West Africa, to Sierra Leone, to check on the VAs. I've got a team of 5 people over there in office. I used to live there. So I spent the next 10 days with me, my wife, my mom, my dad, traveling to West Africa, okay? business still chugging along. Everything's good. I did actually do a couple of sales calls when I was in Africa, but the time difference, I had to do these really late at night, but that was it. I didn't do any of the, any of the other stuff. It was just a couple of sales calls that I really wanted to be on, more for me than anything, okay? Then we come back 10 days later. It takes like a day to get home. And there was some weird stuff in the air, and I was kind of like allergies. I get really bad allergies. And so I told my wife, I said, hey, I got to get out of here for a bit. This is killing me. I put a suitcase together that day, and I cruised off and drove down to Vegas and spent another couple days there. So I went to Cancun, I went to West Africa, and then I spent time in Vegas for over the course of about 3 weeks, because there was a couple days in between each. That was my March, okay? That was my March. And the only reason I tell you that, it's not like you guys, with whatever job you have, couldn't go buy a ticket to any of these places. It's not that. But what was amazing is the only work I did a couple of sales calls, more for me than anything, when I was in West Africa. But the money that I made in March was the exact same money that I made in February. And it's the same money I made in April. And it's the same, it did not change, okay? I was literally in Cancun, in the pool, drinking a mint mojito, virgin of course. No, I'm just kidding. Drinking mint mojitos, making money. I was on my way to West Africa, one of my favorite places in the world, checking on my VAs, walking the beaches, taking hikes, seeing people that the friends and employees, and just really cool experiences, and making money. And there is nothing that is cooler, guys, than the first time that this clicks for you, when you realize you just made money and it didn't require you being present. It didn't require your time. And I remember the very first time this clicked for me, I was playing golf with my brother. I remember exactly where I was at. I was at this course called Southgate. I was on hole number 10. I had hit my first drive, and I was going to hit my second shot up onto the green, or so I hoped. And at the time, I was doing a pay-per-lead model, which I do not agree with, do not ever do, trust me. But at the time, I didn't know. And I was doing a pay-per-lead model, had an awesome client, and they would pay me $100 every time the phone rang. Obviously, that didn't work out. They eventually canceled, and that's why I don't like pay-per-lead. But at the time, I didn't realize this. So I was sitting there, and I'm about to hit my my pitching wedge or my 9-iron up onto the green, and the phone rings. And I stopped, and I grabbed my phone, and I looked at it, and I saw that it was a call that went to these guys. And at the time, these guys were paying me $100 per phone call. And I was like, I just made $100. And I'm golfing. Guys, I'm golfing, and I made $100. And I know for some of you that sounds stupid, and for some of you that are making a lot more money, that sounds stupid. And even it's laughable for me right now. But when you make that first money, that first passive money, where you're either sleeping, doing something you love, traveling, and your time is not attached, and you're like, look, I did this work a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, and that work continues to pay me. My asset is continuing to work for me while I'm golfing. Guys, when that happens the first time, your mind is gonna be blown. You're gonna be hooked for life. And the cool part is a lot of businesses that have something similar, an e-com store, you hear the cha-ching, you made money, but it's not, it's not scalable. It's not as passive. Whereas this, you build the websites, you rank the websites, and they will continue to spit out money day after day after day. And all you do is you check the Stripe account. So guys, I don't know, every couple days, it blows my mind that this business model is even a thing. It blows my mind that I was talking about this with somebody else the other day. Like, how do more people not know about this business model? How are more people not doing this? How isn't this not mainstream like e-com, like FBA? I know it will be. And if you're somebody that's on the fence, like, well, what should I do? Guys, get in now, because as my dad always said, when the sun is shining, it's time to make hay, baby.